In part 1 of my video, we asked a question based on what's on Pixinsight's website. Does Pixinsight actually run better on a Linux machine? And we're about to put that theory to the test. So what we did the first step, which is installing Linux first. And then in today's video, we're going to install Pixinsight on Linux, and we're going to run some tests, both comparing Linux and Windows to see if it actually performs better. My name is Shoin Kashi, and you're watching Astro Island. As we continue in today's process, I want you to know that the installation of both Pixinsight and Linux is just for demonstration purposes in terms of guiding you how to install these two pieces of software, but the actual demonstrations and tests will be done in environments that have Linux installed already in a what we call a bare bones environment, as the same with Windows. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, it's time to download Linux. So of course, we have to go to the Pixinsight website and you log in with your account. If you don't have an account, you can then download a trial version, which usually lasts about 45 days. So I'm on my account, and as we log in, we go all the way down to the latest version, which is 1.9.3. So we click on it, and there are the different versions. Of course, if you have a Windows machine, if you have a Mac, and now, of course, in our instance, we're going to download it for Linux. So we click on this link here, and it then downloads Linux, which I have already done. Now, while Linux is installing, you can also scroll all the way up until it says Linux installation notes. So you click on this link right here, and it gives you the steps to install Pixinsight in the Linux environment. So that's what we're going to do. I've already copied all of these steps in the Linux environment. So let's switch over to that right now. So we've switched over to the Linux environment, and we're about to install Pixinsight. So as mentioned, I would have already downloaded Pixinsight on desktop, and I would have copied the script in a particular text file. And I'd have changed the path because of course I'm leaving it on the desktop, but of course wherever you are installing it, you need to change it to that particular path, as well as the version in which you're downloading. This is the latest version as of today, 13th of April 2025, and the version is 2025-0402. So of course, on Pixinsight website, it mentions that you first need to be the root installer, sort of like administrator in Windows. So what I did, of course, I typed all of this out, to make it easier for you all as well. So you first type sudo.i, so that you need to go to the application launcher and select console. So this is where you'll be entering that script. So you just type in sudo, I can spell correctly, .i, enter the password, which would be the password that you use to log in into Linux itself. Right, so this is the password, so we now have full root administrator access. And all we do now is copy that particular script. Right, so you right click and copy, and we just paste it. Press enter. And then the prompt comes up letting you know, do you want to install Pixinsight at this particular location? And remember, keep in mind, I am installing it on the desktop just for demonstration purposes. So are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. So we type yes, and we press enter, and Pixinsight is going to be installed. So now Pixinsight has been installed, and that didn't take too long. More or less, actually, at least from my experience, it's a little bit faster than installing Pixinsight on a Windows machine. And again, keep in mind, folks, that this is in a virtual environment, so now it's less resources being used compared to a full bare bones installation. So Pixinsight has been installed. We can now close this off by typing in exit. Type it again to close off everything. I'm going to save this, yes. And now let's see if Pixinsight has been installed. And there we go. Pixinsight is ready to be launched. So let's click on it. If you're using a trial version, you'll have to enter information here. Otherwise, you may also need to request an activation code. Now, the good news is with Pixinsight, or at least some of the latest versions of Pixinsight, you can now copy the license code from the install folder into another machine, or onto another machine, I should say. So let's close this off. And I've already backed up my file. All right, so I'm just going to copy it. And the path as well, before we actually go to the path, that path is actually in a hidden folder. So we need to click on this little hamburger menu to the top right here. And we go to show hidden files. So this must be enabled in order for you to see the hidden files. Then we go to the drive. We go to home. In my instance, Scache is going to be whatever your name is. And here's that hidden file, Pixinsight. And we just basically copy it right here, paste one file. So now if we launch Pixinsight again, we are now going to see, there we go. We have now activated Pixinsight using that backup file from a previous installation. A menu is going to pop up telling me a system temporary folder is being used to store image swap files. So we just click OK. Right, thread performance analysis data is absent or complete. So we want to do that thread performance analysis before we can begin actually using Pixinsight. So we click OK. And then we go straight to it, process and thread performance analysis. Right, it says this action will launch a thread performance analysis task that will include all micro benchmarks implemented in this version of the Pixinsight core application. We want to click continue. Yes. All right, and this is going to run for a little while, so we'll be back as soon as it's completed. After the thread performance analysis has been completed, it's time to go through the usual process as you do in a Windows environment with Pixinsight, which is to ensure that you have all of the updates completed. So we go to resources, updates, and check for updates. And it's going to run its usual analysis. Select all, and we apply. And this, of course, is also going to take a while because it's a fairly large file, so we'll be back shortly. Okay, so the system files have been installed for Pixinsight, and what we want to do now I would have installed various scripts and programs inside of the repository. Of course, we know some of them such as Blu-rays, etc. So I have all of the repository links, and I can put those down in the description below. So to get these system updates installed, we just basically close it off. Right, it's going to ask you, do you want to install the updates now? Yes. Again, everything as before with the Pixinsight, whether using Windows or I believe a Mac machine also does this exact same process. All right, so the updates have been successful. All right, click OK. And again, we go back to resources, updates, manage repositories, because what we want to do now is install the specific programs and scripts that I usually use, such as Pixinsight and StarNet and Hidden Light Photography, some of their scripts, SETI Astro as well to be included. So I've already have this ready and available in the script, and I'll put that in the description down below so you can copy them as well. It's quite a lot. So we copy them, just minimize this, we add it, and we paste. Oh, actually, I think an easier option would be to load the actual spreadsheet. Oh, sorry, not the spreadsheet, but the text file. Desktop, Linux files, and repositories. Where are you? Ah, there we go, Pixinsight repositories. So everything has been copied, and we click OK. We go to resources again, updates, check for updates. It's searching through all of those links that I would have copied, and then afterwards it's going to begin downloading all of them onto Pixinsight. See, so all of them are here. Select all, apply. It's going to be start downloading each and every one of them. So we'll let this run for a while and we'll be back when every single one has been installed. So all 29 of the scripts that I usually use have been successfully installed. Alright, so click OK. I should say that the repositories have been downloading, and now by restarting Pixinsight, it allows those pieces of software or scripts to be installed into Pixinsight. So let's do that right now. Right, so they've been installed. That file, this is going to keep popping up, but we'll sort that out afterwards. So now if we go to process, or rather if we go to script, there we have it. We have Easy Processing Suite, Hidden Light Photography, his scripts. We have SETI Astro, his scripts there as well, and many others. All right, color mask mod, etc. So now it's time to actually put this to the test. So as I would have shown previously, this is a full Windows machine, AMD Ryzen 7 processor, CPU information, memory information, and then we have the Linux machine. And this is a full laptop. As I would have mentioned before, I use the virtual environment just for demonstration purposes, how to install. But now I actually have it on a full laptop, 16 gigs of RAM, CPU information. It's a i5 2.3 gigahertz processor, no GPU acceleration on any of them. So we're basically running, as I said, bare bones, no fancy stuff, and we're going to get started now. So now we're going to launch both versions of Pixinsight at the same time, the Linux version as well as the Windows version. So here we go, and off they go. Let's see who launches first, who's completed first. All right, and just about the same time, they've both launched. Now, keep in mind, the laptop is actually a slower machine. So in comparison, I would say that even though it runs about the same time, it performs faster on a slow machine, or just about the same time as a faster machine. All we're going to do now is launch or open a file that's worth 12 hours of data, and the file size is just about 1.06 gigs. Here we have it, 1.06 gigs. That's a file size. Both of them are the exact same file. It's M45 captured about 2 weeks ago, worth of 12 hours of data. So we're going to open them at the very same time. So here we go. All right, and it seems that the Windows machine would have won this race. So we continue with the testing. The next thing we're going to do now is an auto linear fit of the image, both of them at the lowest mean. So here we go. All right, and again, it looks like Windows has won this race. Linux still seems to be struggling a bit. And finally, we're going to run the steps to remove the stars from the image using StarNet 2. And of course, as we know, StarNet 2 is a bit resource intensive, which is why we now have GPUs with CUDA enabled, which will now fast track or speed up the process. And as I mentioned earlier, this is just bare bones. We don't have any CUDA enabled. We don't have any GPU processing, just straight CPU processing between the two devices. So here we go. We're going to drag and drop, start it, and we're going to see which one finishes first. So I just have my mouse hovering over both of them, ready to begin the exact same process. And here we go. Right? Windows seems to be in the lead already. Linux seems to be trying to catch up. Hasn't even launched the console as yet. Starnet is already up and running at 0%, 1% moving. Linux is struggling. Now we have it. Now Linux is off. But Windows is already at 5%. With Linux now beginning at 1%. And let's wait a while and see how it comes to an end. And there we have it. Windows is at 99% and done. The stars have been removed while Linux is only at 32%. My goodness. So Windows has won again in this instance. So there you have it. Windows is the winner and Windows shall always prevail. Wait, what? No, 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 no. This is the worst experiment you can ever carry out if you have to compare one to the other. Really and truly, and in fact, you need to have the same CPU, the same motherboard, GPU, memory. Every single thing needs to match exactly as it is in order to get accurate results. But of course, we were just having some fun. We just wanted to see, how Linux would perform. How Pixinsight would perform in a Linux environment. But what I did realize though is that even though Linux was in an environment that was much slower than a Windows machine, it performed really well. Or at least there were some areas where it performed a little slower, but again, the variables were wide and far in between. So let me know what you think. Have you installed Pixinsight in a Linux environment? What was the results? Have you actually compared Linux to Windows in exact same environments? What were your results? Drop them in the comments down below. And as always, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with many others so we can all learn and grow in this beautiful field of astronomy and astrophotography. As always, you know what I'm going to do? Close off by saying it's not the size of a telescope that counts, it's how you use it. Bye for now. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon at Astro Island.